Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the details for the Yokai Watch collaboration, which is returning for, I think it's the third outing in Final Fantasy XIV since it initially released back in 2016, if I'm remembering correctly. Now, I realize I never made a guide or anything for the Yokai Watch collaboration. I've only made videos going over details kind of like this, and as such, I want to make sure you're aware of a few resources that you can have on the side to really help you keep track of what's going on in the Yokai Watch collaboration, where you need to go, what you need to be doing in order to collect the various minions, mounts, and weapons. Now, this is the official page on the Lodestone. If you're ever wondering about news and stuff that we're producing videos for on YouTube, the Lodestone is always a great place to look initially, and I'll include this link in the description because this has pretty much all the details you need to know as a player who's never done it before. It even takes the time to explain certain things that maybe newer players don't really know by their terminology. So it's incredibly useful, and it was useful the last time it came around too. Now, this collaboration will be running, it's already running by the time you're seeing this video, until the release of patch 5.4. So given it's been about a week after the patch, assume this will be around for approximately another 16 weeks, 4 months, however you want to look at it. But you have plenty of time to get this done, so no pressure to rush it down. Now with that, they of course have the starting location for the quest. It's over in the Steppes of Nald in Ul'dah. The poor healed youth, they have a picture of him. There's no way you can miss him. A location right there on the map. And he will give you everything you need to actually get started. You'll receive a Yokai Watch and a Yokai Medallion. Now, the Yokai Watch you'll equip, and with that equipped, if you go out and do fates in certain areas, you will get Yokai medals. You can exchange these Yokai medals at an NPC in order to obtain Yokai minions. Now, the Medallion will help you keep track of your progress. However, it's used specifically for something a little bit later that, quite frankly, I have a way better resource that I'm going to be pointing you to keep track of things outside of the Yokai Medallion. Now, it's just a reminder that you actually need to have completed the level 15 main scenario quest, whichever one your starting city is, the starting city envoy, pretty much. So if you're brand new to the game, you just have to do a few main scenario quests, and then you'll be qualified in order to actually accept this quest. Now, after you gather the medals, they tell you to go to the Wandering Executive at the Gold Saucer with this exact location, and he'll introduce you to your favorite yokai. Now, you can exchange these medals in order to obtain these various minions, and these are from the Yokai Watch games. So if you actually click on the website, they give you a full picture of it right here. Again, incredibly useful website if you actually want to see what the various minions look like. Now, the last time this event ran, there were only 13 minions available. Part of the allure of the new event is that there are actually 4 new minions, so now 17 in total, with Lord Enma, Lord Ananta, Lord, or just Zazzle, and Demona. So these are new ones that if you did this before, that you can now obtain. And trust me, it's not going to be as bad as some of you who were around before may think it's going to be. So here you go. This shows you exactly where the NPC is, the Wandering Executive. There is a little picture of it on the map. See, it even explains what minions are. So if you don't know what a minion is, here you go. That's what it is. Now, in order to gain the medals, you specifically need to be wearing the watch and participating in fates in Lenosha, the Black Shroud, Thanalin, any of the various zones there, Heavensward, or Stormblood. Now, Shadowbringers fates do not count, Mordona fates do not count, and Kurthus fates do not count. So bear that in mind. Now, Kurthus Central, Kurthus Western, which is a Heavensward zone, does indeed count. So that can be a little bit confusing. But those are the zones you need to go to. So it'll be a piece of equipment, a wrist. Here you go. What else is there to say? Equip the watch, participate in fates, get a medal by either getting silver or gold. You don't even have to get gold all the way. Bam, go back, exchange them. Now, if I recall, it's 1 medal for the first one, and then 3 medals for all the minions after that. So that takes a decent amount of time, because the medals are not 100% guaranteed, but at the very least, you're going to be getting them very quickly. From what I've been told, they increase the acquisition rate of pretty much everything of this across the board from the previous times that the event actually ran. If you don't know what a fate is, there's an explanation for you. Perfect. Now, once you get 13 of those, you get the Whisper Go-Go mount, or the Whisper Go mount, I believe it's called. And this is just one of the 3 mounts that's actually going to be available. Now, for the minions, that's the only one, but next we're going to be moving on over into weapons. If you don't know what a mount is, there that is as well. Now, for the weapons, it's a little bit different. You do still need to go around and do fates. Same principle, but it's a bit more focused of an effort. Now, of course, if you're curious about the various weapons, there is one for every job. When this originally ran, only 13 of the current 17 jobs had weapons. Now that there's 17 jobs in the game and they brought this event back, there is one for all 4 of the new jobs since Stormblood released. So Gunbreaker, Red Mage, Samurai, and Dancer all here on the screen. Quite frankly, I like these 4 weapons better than the other 13, but that's just me. Now, in order to obtain legendary yokai medals, there's a couple of things you need to do different. You need to actually go and do fates in specific zones with the minion out. Now, what job you're on is completely irrelevant. You could do it on Blue Mage for all I care. But you need to meet those two conditions, have the correct minion in the correct zone. And then you still have to hope for them to drop. The drop rate is not 100%. I couldn't tell you what it is, but let's just say I've gone a few fates without getting them. Quite a few fates without getting them, but you should obtain them at a somewhat reasonable pace. When you have enough medals, you'll be able to exchange them for a weapon. Now, the first weapon is only 5 medals. Every weapon after that is 10 medals. Now, for those of you who did this event a few years ago, that sounds like a pretty significant nerf, because what it used to be is the first one was like 3 or 5 medals, then the next 3 were 8, then the next 3 were like 11, and the price went up till I think the last 3 medals, the first time they ran the event, or the last 3 weapons that you got, whichever ones they were like 30 medals a piece. It was terrible. Now it's 5 medals, 5 legendary medals for the first one, 10 legendary medals for the rest. But remember, you need specific medals from specific zones for specific minions. And we'll be going into how to get that information. For one, the Yokai Medallion will give you this information, so you know where to go with what minion. That information is available in-game, and you do need to get silver or gold again. So you can see like legendary Jibanyan medal. It's very specific to the minion you're actually doing it with. Now, fortunately, I have something I'd like to share with you in this video. This right here is an infographic covering not only a bunch of the details I just gave you, but some very specific details that can be really useful for you at a glance. Now, I did not make this infographic. A community member by the name of Kayoko Star made it, and I'm going to include their Twitter in the description, because not only did they make this, but quite frankly, they're really good at making these kind of quick sheet style content for people who just want to have access to the information all at a glance. They do it for Fashion Report every single week. They're doing it for the Yokai Watch. They do it for quest unlocks, and they do it for other pieces of content for the game as well. Quite frankly, I use those cheat sheets real quick instead of like control Fing through patch notes for new information. They're incredibly useful. So if you're looking for content like that, if you really appreciate things like this, please go follow them on Twitter and thank them for this. Don't thank me for showing you this. Thank them for making it. Please do that, because this is awesome. Now, this covers, of course, the unlock, the collecting of the medals, the available minions, the available weapons, but most importantly, if you look on the right-hand side, it explains that same process with the minion and the medals, but it gives you all of the zones that you can potentially use each minion for, so you don't constantly have to look back at the Yokai Medallion. For example, if you're looking to get the Jibanyan weapon, you need to have Jibanyan out and do fates in Central Shroud, Lower Lenosha, or Central Thanalan. Going all the way down to Zazzle, you can obtain Zazzle by doing any of the fates in any of the Heavensward areas as long as Zazzle is currently out. Lord Enma, Stormblood, Lord Ananta, Heavensward, and Demona, Stormblood as well. But then back to the Realm Reborn ones, again, specific zones, like Robonyan is Upper Lenosha, Southern Thanalan, and North Shroud. This is vital. You don't want to be wasting time with the wrong minion in the wrong zone. Save yourself the struggles here. And also, again, make sure that for the original medals, you're not in Mordona or Korthus Western, because it's not... I'm sorry, Korthus Central. I'm going to screw that up. No Korthus Central, no Mordona. Most important things with the original medals as well. So I'm going to include a link in the description. I'm going to include links to both this and the Lodestone. Bookmark them. Use them. Take your time with this. The grind, I've been told, they made everything spawn a lot more frequently, or they made everything drop a lot more frequently, but... still, it's a hell of an event. With Blue Mages running around one-shotting certain things from levels 50 to 60, it can be a little bit frustrating, and you might even want to wait for it to die down a little bit before you actually go out there yourself, or you can go and start suffering right away. But with that, just wanted to give you this infographic, all the details on the event, and wish you the best of luck at obtaining your minions and mounts. Oh, and by the way, I'm blocking them kind of. Let me move my camera. If you go into the bottom right, I don't know why I didn't put my camera down here in the first place. You can see that there's the Whisper Agogo, which is obtained 13 of the yokai weapons. So we mentioned the Whisper Go, which is for the 13 minions. The Whisper Agogo, which is like a shinier version of the Whisper mount, is from 13 weapons. For obtaining 17 weapons, you get a Jibanyan Couch, which, yes, is indeed a flying mount. Every mount in this game flies. All those mounts fly, so you can obtain those 3 mounts, all the weapons base. It's a lot of rewards, all right? It's a lot of things to grind out, and you have a long time to do it. So with that, I'm going to wrap up this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, share, and follow Kayoko on Twitter, especially if you like. Thank them. Thank them for this. But with that, I will see you guys in the next video. And until then, take care.